Well, here we are standing in front of this wonderful Kusama artwork, which brings us together on this wall with another wall of glass looking out at Park Avenue and with a really extraordinary project and an extraordinary honoree. I'm Carol Willis. I'm the founder and director of the Skyscraper Museum, and I thank you all for being here tonight and for supporting the museum. For those of you who don't know, the museum is downtown, not in Midtown. It's in Battery Park City, and I hope that you will come down there in order to see our current exhibition, Skymarks Landmarks, which is a relevant theme for tonight, because there'll be 3 speakers after I introduce myself in the evening. The next speaker is going to be Jamie von Klemperer, who is the president of KPF, but also, importantly, is the chair of the Skyscraper Museum. Then Mnyh Srinivasan, who is a former chair, the past chair of the Landmarks Preservation Commission, is going to be speaking for both herself and Sarah Carroll, who came down with a terrible post-Thanksgiving celebration cold, and so Mnyh will make the remarks, and then we'll hand the award. And we'll give the award to David Levinson, the chair and CEO of L&L Holding Company, whom we are delighted to honor tonight as a imaginative developer. I think I called it on the invitation that you see here somewhere. An alchemist, an urban alchemist, because with projects like this, 425 Park Avenue, which we'll talk about more in the evening, but also with the extraordinary landmarks, New York City designated landmark projects, the Terminal Warehouse over on 11th Avenue in West Chelsea, and also the really extraordinary TSX project in Times Square, which incorporates the restored Palace Theater and brings that back. Those projects need to be reviewed by landmarks. This building also reinvents the 1950s setback skyscraper and the zoning law, actually pre-1961 zoning law pyramid setbacks by leaving 25% of the floor area and the original steel, bringing this an incredibly complicated project down to the ground, supporting the floors in order to stay within the prescriptions of the zoning law, and to build around it this really extraordinary 21st century tower designed by Norman Foster and partners. And this project goes back more than 10 years, 10 or 12 years, when David and his partner Robert Lapidus undertook a competition that included, I think, 5 or more of the world's leading architects, I call Pritzker Prize winners, and in a really exceptional effort to raise the level of design and then to award the commission ultimately to Norman Foster, the process became a kind of civic show about raising the level of design in the city. And of course, this project represents an investment in a reinvestment in New York. And the idea that David, in all of these 3 projects, kind of got ahead of the market in creating a strategy, an imaginative strategy to bring buildings up to new and higher value with 21st century technology while respecting history is the kind of values that the Skyscraper Museum likes to celebrate. So we decided to give David the award before he offered us this wonderful space that we're all enjoying tonight. So it's really for all of his work and all of L&L's team's work that we want to celebrate David tonight. So this is the 3rd of 3 Midtown towers where we've held our parties. And I wanted to mention One Vanderbilt, where Jamie is the principal design architect for KPF of One Vanderbilt. And then last year, we were at 550 Madison, another reinvented landmark project. So tonight is a kind of pinnacle of that work, and because the architect is here, it's not a competition to which of the amenities floors is more luxurious, but this one is pretty damn good. So I'm going to hand it over to Jamie in order to say a few words, a little bit about the museum, but also about these projects.
So thank you, Carol, and thank everybody for coming to support not only our awardee, but also the museum. It's a very small but still a meaningful institution in the city of New York. And we hope you'll come down to Battery Park to some of the great shows, exhibits, and so on that many of you are part of in one way or the other, knowing the buildings that many here have been behind as architects, brokers, developers, lawyers, etc. And Carol is the heart and soul, and our board members here, all of whom are, most of whom standing by the side, we'll name them later on, but are here to represent this good faith in this institution. But David agreed to receive this award only on the basis of it going to his team, not just to himself. He said the first conversation, so we have to remember that. It takes a great team to make a building like this. But really to think about the other work that David has done with his team, all along Fifth Avenue, Madison Avenue, Park Avenue, these buildings that have come out of a huge leap of faith in many cases, that a complexity of thinking could yield a result that would take the high-rise building into the next century, reviving older buildings. So important now in our carbon-careful eras to live with and work with what is already existing. So the ingenuity, and I experienced this through my partners who work with David on 390 Madison, the ingenuity of hoisting steel through an existing building to create opportunity for open spaces in what was before a low ceiling kind of, really not the greatest building in New York, and now is a prize. And so one after the other of these projects that we marvel at, we architects marvel at the design. So here we are in this wonderful building of Norman Foster's. And I was taught in architecture school, when you make a great space, the first thing you have to think about is the center. You can't have a great space without a center. Well, this proves that wrong, because you have a core over here. But this is one of the greatest spaces in New York. So we thank you, David, for allowing us to have this here, this event, and we want to celebrate your achievements in this building and across the rest of the map of New York City. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mnyh to say a few words about landmarks and preservation.
Good evening. Sarah Carroll, the chair of the Landmark Preservation Commission, could not be here today, so I've incorporated her comments and I have them camouflaged in this pamphlet. But what a pleasure it is to honor David Levinson and L&L Holdings this evening. And I'm privileged to make a few comments on David's remarkable ability to honor the past of New York while building for the future. Reimagination and reinvention are the cornerstones of the firm's mission, and I don't think there's a better project that really embodies that, and the leadership and vision of David as TSX, a 46-story multi-use entertainment and hospitality center in the heart of Times Square. It includes the restoration and relocation of Nederlander's Palace Theater within a modern high-rise tower. A particular interest is the centerpiece of the project, the engineering feat to lift the over 100-year-old Palace Theater, an interior landmark, vertically by 30 feet, while keeping the theater volume and the historic features intact. I mean, just imagine that. This allows the theater to expand and upgrade its facilities for modern performances and audiences, and at the same time provide entertainment and retail use at the ground plane, adding to Broadway's vibrancy. This engineering technology apparently has never been used for a historic building, and this approach has taken preservation of landmarks to a new level of innovation. I was actually at the Landmarks Commission when that came before us, and it was very bold and daunting, but I think David and his team of consultants, many of them over here today, their rigor, their credibility, and their excellence really allowed the Commission to approve it at its first hearing, which many of you know doesn't happen that often. David's other brainchild was terminal stores. It was a bold plan for the restoration and adaptive reuse of an individual landmark in West Chelsea. The project embraces the site's history as a freight transfer facility, preserving its historic look and feel, while repurposing the building's interior as a modern office, retail and dining destination. I know Rick Cook is here and others of the team. It's a great project. It's topped up. It looks fabulous. And I want to thank you, David, for your enduring legacy and contribution to New York's fabric. Congratulations.
First, we thank everybody for being here tonight. Well, thank you so much for this honor. but as has been said, the honor is really not mine. It belongs to a large team of people. I mean, you talk about Terminal Warehouse Rick. I mean, this was something you and I spent many, many, many hours. You saved me from a lot of ridiculous ideas, because I come up with a lot of them.
David did hug and kiss the building.
I hug and kiss all my buildings. That was a secret, but again, there's so many people here tonight that really did this. I mean, I get the award because maybe my name's on the door and I signed the guarantees, but you know, Robert Israel, Chris, James, Jamil, Rick. I mean, it's an endless group of people that are here tonight from L&L Holding Company that really will be receiving this award. You know, as soon as I get it back to the office tomorrow. Again, tonight's also very special because there's so many of you that I've seen here tonight that I haven't seen in many years. You know, pre-COVID, we haven't seen each other. There are people that are here that I've worked on projects 15 years ago. You know, 155th Avenue. I see my friend from Studio Architecture. I mean, fantastic work that we did. That also won many, many awards, right? So it's been amazing. So I'm so appreciative of everyone supporting the museum. It's very, very important to continue that support to the museum. It plays a very, very significant role in the history and the future. You know, if you know your history, you'll know the future. So it's very, very important that we continue to support the museum, and that's why I was so grateful and happy to really do this. So again, I applaud all of you for the support and the friendship and all the great work that you've done that allowed me to be here tonight. Thank you very much.
David, the award.